Alright, hi everybody, my name is Julia Richter. I am a fourth year biological engineering student, and today I'm going to be presenting on the impact of fracking on society. I chose this topic because right now it's a really hot topic in engineering. It's very divisive right now. Some people think it's very beneficial, it does a lot of great things. Some people think it's not so great. It's hurting our environment and the people nearby it. And fracking is short for hydraulic fracturing, and the main goal is to access the natural gas and oil that's underground. So the process behind fracking begins with drilling into the ground 10,000 feet. They drill all the way until they reach a formation of whatever they're looking for, either gas or oil. And once they hit that formation, they make a 90-degree bend and drill 4,000 to 10,000 feet horizontally. Once they've done that and gotten in position, they pump a slurry of water, sand, and other chemicals into the ground. They pump this in at a very high velocity, and this velocity causes such pressure underground that it creates cracks and fractures underground. And this causes the slurry to get trapped in the cracks. Now, the slurry is thickened with a lot of chemicals such as xanthan gum, and this creates a situation where the particles are able to be suspended in that slurry, so that once they enter the cracks and the water drains away, the particles of sand remain in those cracks and hold them open. This allows for the natural gas or oil trapped underground to flow to the surface because now they're freed. This is just an image of what happens. Here is the well. They drill all the way down into the ground. Here's that formation of oil and gas. They create the 90-degree bend and the fracturing, and here is the sand getting stuck in those cracks. And just a little bit about the history of fracking. Its precursors date all the way back to the 1860s. And what they used to do back then was drop an explosive charge into a well underground and create an explosion to make cracks in the ground. It's still the same general idea of breaking up the rock in order to reach the resources underneath. So they started with gunpowder. They called it a gunpowder torpedo. Eventually they moved to nitroglycerin. Nitroglycerin was a problem because it was very dangerous. One false move by a worker and he or she could lose a hand. So they decided to move to liquid nitrogen. Finally, in 1949, they came up with hydrofrac, which is the most common modern commercial practice we use today. We have altered it slightly since then. We use more water and more sand than we used to. We also use slightly different chemicals than we did in the past. This larger volume creates a need to propel the slurry underground with more force and more power. So those are just a couple ways that we've altered that since 1949. Finally, the controversy behind fracking. Some good things with it is that it has put U.S. as the leading producer of natural gas in the world. We're also on the way to be the world's leading producer of oil. So because of this, we have boosted our economy and our energy industry. So those are some positive things that has come out of it. But on the con side, it creates a lot of concern about the impact on our environment. There's evidence of people nearby the sites becoming sick. When fracking occurs near a group of people, the chemicals in the ground get into the drinking water. And we don't have a lot of research about what happens when people drink that water for decades or decades. We don't really know what those impacts are. Also, companies have a loophole where they don't need to list every substance that's in their slurry, and there's concern that there may be toxic chemicals or even carcinogens in that group, and we're still not sure what they all entail. Finally, fracking perpetuates the use of natural gas and oil, which leads to more climate change. So how do we fix this? We know that we need more research on the chemicals used and the long-term effects on the environment and what happens to the people that are affected by fracking. Additionally, we need to look into more renewable alternatives to fracking, such as solar and wind and other ideas like that. And finally, some of the impacts on society. It's a very divisive topic. People disagree about it all the time, but it's also created more awareness of the issue and has had people get more involved and more educated on this topic. It affects a lot of things, such as climate change, economy growth, and the people nearby that it affects. And hopefully it will lead to the growth of more renewable alternatives in the future. And there are my references, and thank you.